Like everyone's present.
And it's 7 o'clock.
Pretty close, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
So it's 7 o'clock. So everyone's here. Let's go ahead and get started. So we'll go ahead and call to order the Town of Farragut Visual Resources Review Board meeting for the month of April 2021. So the first item on our agenda is approval of the minutes from the March 23rd, 2021 meeting. Do we have any conversation questions from the board on those minutes? All right, hearing none, do I have a board member with a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Alderman Pinchot has a motion for approval, and Ms. Hollyfield has seconded. So let's move on to the vote for approval.
Okay, Mr. Armstrong,
Yes.
Ms. Hollyfield,
Yes.
Mr. Lehman,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Alderman Pinchot,
Yes.
Ms. Stowe,
Yes.
and Mr. Wright.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so with that, we'll move on down to the next item on our agenda, which is the ground-mounted sign application section. And we're going to start with Daddy Mac's, a new ground sign at Campbell Lakes Drive, the old Wild Wing Cafe location. So with that, I'll turn it over to staff for comments.
Okay. This is a new ground sign. They're using the same structure, although they're going to be doing some updates to the structure. They're going to be whitewashing the existing brick. They're going to be pulling the Wild Wings sort of neon sign that's in that inset area, and they're going to fill it in with that corrugated metal and then mount their sign across the face. They're also putting that new top to the structure with the the wood there as opposed to what's out there now. So it's quite an improvement over the existing sign. They click through here. It's going to be internally lit. Because of our standards for the changes they're making to the actual structure, has to be architecturally compatible. This is actually the setbacks from the original Wild Wing sign, just so you can see that the existing structure met the setback requirements. But the materials that they're going to be using on their updated building are at the top of this slide. They're going to, some of that corrugated metal, whitewashed brick, and that sort of treatments to their building. So you can see that their proposed sign structure is going to be architecturally compatible with it. So that's why I included these sort of architectural slides, so you can see what the building was going to look like relative to what they're proposing on the sign. The sign is actually just a hair over 20 square feet if you look at the Mac Daddy's part, and then that's mounted to the larger existing structure. So I think they've committed everything they need to. They have a landscaping plan there, and it should be okay to go with this. If you're all comfortable with approving it, we can recommend approval of it.
All right, so we'll follow our same sequence as we have been in previous months. So we'll go down and ask each member for any questions or comments of staff. So we'll start today with Mr. Wright. Do you have any questions or comments? Are you able to hear us, Derek?
I am, but hitting that unmute button sure would help. Sorry about that.
Gotcha.
My bad. No, I don't have any questions. Appreciate the explanation and the description. It looks great. And for this, I don't have any questions at all. No.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Hollyfield. I think you might be mute.
I have a few. I really like the sign. I think it's just great. But the whitewash is going to be in the picture, is it a tone of a grayish color or is it going to be like white, the brick?
You know, I don't think this image exactly, they were trying to just do mock-ups on this as to exactly
Uh-huh.
what it's going to look like. The existing structure out there, and I didn't include a picture of what was out there. I guess I should have. It's just a regular red brick column, so they're gonna, put that sort of
the white
whitewash
is
into the brick. I think you can look up here at the top here. It sort of shows what that what the whitewashed brick looks like up near the top of this slide here,
okay.
on the finished palette. And you can, so I think it's going to look somewhat like that and match what they're doing to the building. So
And their sign, the actual sign, is it a dark gray or a blue? I couldn't tell. It's a dark gray, right?
yeah, it's a dark gray. Yeah.
Okay, so that's and then they have red in it also. It looks great and yellow.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah,
it's
just a
definitely
little
gonna
bit
be
around
noticeable.
there, and it's going to be, internally lit.
Yes,
And but it
I just wanted to make sure I didn't. The top looked gray, but then the one at the bottom with the numbers, it looked like it was like a sort of a bluish color. So just for curiosity, because no matter, I think it looks really, really good.
yeah.
So that's the only comment I had. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Stowe, any questions or comments?
No, I think it all looks great. I have no issues at all with it. It just looks good.
All right. Alderman Pinchot?
I agree. I really like it. It jumps out at you. I have no further questions or concerns.
All right. Ms. Moore?
I have no questions or concerns. I like the sign. I think it's updated and nice fresh look to it. So no questions for me.
All right. Mr. Armstrong?
No questions. I think it looks great.
All right. Mr. Rogers?
Like the rest, I'm a big fan of the sign, so no questions.
All right. I think we're unanimous there, so I have no other questions or comments myself. So with that, do we have a motion from the board?
I'll motion to approve.
All right. We have a motion by Ms. Moore to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Stowe. Is the applicant present on here tonight?
Yes,
Yes?
on the call. This is Dave McFarland. I'm actually outside the town hall here. I thought that the meeting was at town hall. I didn't know it was a virtual meeting.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're still virtual this month. That's about to change apparently. So you did provide your name. If you would, for the record, we'll get your name and your contact information there. If you wouldn't mind to do that one more time.
Yes, Dave McFarland, 828-242-7811, and then Dave at McFarlandManagementGroup.com.
All right, you've heard everything that was said so far. Do you have anything that you would like to add to the conversation?
I'm a fan of the sign too. It sounds like it was well received, and you guys kind of saw what we're looking to do. So I jumped in on the call. I think it was the monument sign. Is that the first sign? Is that the first one you guys are talking about today?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay. Yes, I am out in the parking lot listening to this on my phone.
Okay. Are there any questions of Mr. McFarland from the board at this point? I think everybody has.
I got one question. When can we find your menu? I've been looking online. I can't find it.
Yeah, it's I'm gonna do some press releases tomorrow. I just wanted to give. I own 4 other Wild Wing cafes, and this is something I've been really excited about doing here. So I wanted to just make it separate. So that's why I waited a month to do a press release about Daddy Max. And this is a concept I've been working on for quite some time. So to answer your question, we'll put up some website information tomorrow and a press release talking about the concept and the story behind it.
Is this the first Daddy Max? I'm not familiar.
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's what all right. Thank you. I'm excited.
Oh, I can't wait to share it with you. Can't wait to share it with you.
Wonderful. Any other questions? All right. Were there any citizens' comments that we need to read into the record?
No, we don't have any on this.
All right. From the board members, do we have any amendments to the previous motion? I expect none. So with that, I guess we'll turn it over to you, Bart, for a roll call vote.
Okay. Mr. Armstrong,
Yes.
Ms. Hollyfield,
Yes.
Chairman Lehman,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Alderman Pinchuk,
Yes.
Ms. Stowe,
Yes.
and Mr. Wright.
Yes.
Okay, so the motion passed unanimously.
Okay. So with that, we'll move on down to the next item on the agenda, which is we're still talking Daddy Max here, but we're at the interstate pole sign. And if you wouldn't mind, when you start the comments on this, Bart, just give a real brief on the interstate pole signs and as far as where they can be located, so where everybody's on the same speed, up to speed there.
Okay, this is an interstate pole sign. It's actually an existing sign. Under your regulations, they have to be located within a certain distance of the interchange. This one is. They also have certain height requirements on them. And again, this is a previously permitted structure. So I pulled the permit for the Wild Wings Cafe. And I spoke to the sign company. They're not making any changes to the height of it or the location of it. So it was conforming on the old permit. Actually, that entire, the pole and the surrounding frame are all part of the main structure. So they're really just changing out the face on this. So it will be compliant. You know, there's only really a limited number of this type of signage that's allowed in the town because of the distance parameters from the actual interchange exit. And then, like I said, there are height requirements that, you know, like a maximum height above the center elevation of the interstate or a elevation above sea level. So this was permitted, or this structure was permitted with the Wild Wings Cafe, and it was compliant then. And I did pull that permit just to have that in the record, and I added that information into this permit application just so we'd have, you know, tracking on that. So what they're doing here is they're just, you know, they're basically just refacing the existing sign structure with the Daddy Max sign. It'll be internally illuminated, and here's what the illumination is on it. And you can see about where it is located there, back in behind the structure. If any of you have been back in there to Wild Wings, you probably know where that pylon sign is, but that's where it's located on the site.
Okay.
So like I said, it you know, based on the proceeding or on the prior permit for Wild Wings, it was conforming in terms of its location relative to the interchange, and also setbacks and height and that sort of thing. So it's really just a matter of looking at the face change out in terms of you know, whether or not y'all are comfortable with it, and you know, so staff can recommend approval of it.
All right. Thank you. Again, we'll go through the board and ask if you have any questions or comments of staff. So we'll start this time with Mr. Armstrong.
No comments, no questions. Thank you.
All right. Ms. Moore?
No comments or questions. Looks good.
Alderman Pinchot?
I pass.
Ms. Stowe?
I'm gonna pass.
Ms. Hollyfield?
Also pass.
Mr. Wright,
All good, no questions.
and Mr. Rogers.
No comment.
All right, I think the same here. I'm pretty comfortable with this sign as well. So with that, do we have a motion by the board?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion approved by Ms. Hollyfield. Do we have a second?
Second.
I'll second.
I think Mr. Wright started there a little first, so we'll
Okay,
give him a
that's fine.
second on this one. Again, I think you're still on the line with us, Mr. McFarland. Do you have anything else you'd like to add to the comments on this interstate sign?
Yes, I'm still here. I think it's, that sign is 14 years old, and I think this is a big upgrade. I think this is definitely a definite update, and I think I'm glad that that you guys see what I'm doing. It's I'm excited to get that. Very excited to get that started.
Okay. Are there any citizens' comments we need to read into the record tonight?
No, not on this item.
I'm going to guess here that there's probably no amendments to the motion. All right, hearing none, let's go ahead and have a roll call vote.
Mr. Armstrong,
Yes.
Ms. Hollyfield,
Yes.
Chairman Lehman,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Alderman Pinchot,
Yes.
Ms. Stowe,
Yes.
and Mr. Wright.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Well, Mr.
motion
McFarland, thank
passes.
you very much for being on the line with us, and congratulations on your new venture.
Hey, thank you. Look to see all you guys in late May when we're open. So
Sounds great.
appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
See you soon.
All right. With that, we're going to move on down to the Sargoonies ground-mounted sign. I think we all probably know where that is over on Kingston Pike. So I'll turn it over to you, Bart, for staff comments.
Okay. There are their old sign's been down for a while, so they're putting up a new sign, a new structure, a new sign, the sort of the whole 9 yards here on a new sign. They went through several iterations on design. This is what we came up with. It's kind of hard to match the compatibility with the existing architecture given the nature of that use, but I think they've done a pretty good job on coming up with a pretty good looking sign for the site. They do, as you can see there on the schematic, they have the full 2-foot base that's required. That'll be brick underneath the sign. They'll be adding landscaping. It's a full full size sign based on what they're proposing. They're going to have a 20-foot setback on it. So it's the max size they can have for that setback. But they are going to put some plantings in around. You can see there on the sort of the plant list, they're going to use some boxwoods and then some ornamentals in there. This shows the setback. I can say that they sent me some pictures today. They're working with one of the surveying firms here in the area to have it all staked out. It's a fairly tight site, and they want to make sure they get that 20-foot setback from the front and 10-foot from the sideline. So that's about where it's going to be set there. You can see the blue line measuring from the front property line back, and then it's an odd shaped piece of property you can see here, and it'll be over there in that corner. It would be the northeast corner of the property there at the entrance on Kingston Pike. So again, I got some information today emailed to me on the setbacks. There's some concern as to whether or not they'd be able to fit it in between the driveway and the 10-foot setback, but once Benny Mormon, the surveyor, was out there and he staked it all out, and it will be able to meet all the setbacks. So based on that, we can recommend approval.
All right. So, questions or comments from the staff, and I guess we'll start at this time with Alderman Pinchot.
I have none. I pass.
All right, Ms. Stowe.
No, I have no questions.
All right, Ms. Moore.
I have no questions. Pass.
Ms. Hollyfield.
I just want to make sure the colors is it yellow, pink, and blue? Is that
Yeah,
okay.
they're sort of they're sort of muted.
Muted.
They, like I said, they went through several design iterations on it. Some of the earlier ones were very loud, sort of neon type colors, which you all don't allow. So they had to tone it down and go with like a more muted color palette. And the black background is fine. That's permitted. They
It's good.
yeah. I think they went through 3 or 4 different design iterations until we got to something that we thought we could bring to y'all for approval.
Yep. Thank you.
Sure.
Mr. Armstrong.
No comment.
Mr. Wright.
Well, yeah, thanks. First of all, Bart, for the color scheme there. I think much brighter would have done well in Pigeon Forge, maybe not here, but and I will say I don't remember now. I'm glad this sign has paintball. I've lived here all my life, and I didn't know until about 3 or 4 years ago that they had paintball. So I will comment to say I'm glad that's on the sign, and that'll stand out. My boys, we've had parties there the last few years, and it's a great time. And the brick, of course, looks great. So all in all, a great sign. I think the color is good, not too bright. Any brighter might have been an issue, but looks good.
All right, and Mr. Rogers.
I like the sign, and I have no further question.
All right, sounds pretty good. I think I'm in agreement with everybody. It does sound like we don't need to have a motion with a subject to any longer. I just want to confirm that with you first.
Well, we still are going to want to go out there and just verify that they, I mean, they did have it surveyed, so the survey is done. We'll want to follow up and go out and measure and everything. But
Okay.
they did have a surveyor out there, and he actually staked the front setback. He staked the side setbacks for them, and then also marked where they can set the sign and comply. So. It's probably better for the surveyor to stake it out that way and have it located correctly than to come back after the fact and have it surveyed and find out that it has to be moved. So, they were wise in terms of, going about it that way.
Okay, so we still need to have the subject to in there that staff will verify the setbacks.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, with that, do we have a motion from the board?
I'll move for approval with the subject to suggested by staff.
Alderman Pitchock motions to approve with subject to. Do we have a second?
Armstrong will second.
We have a second. Is the applicant present for this sign?
Yes.
Yes, we're here.
Okay. If you wouldn't mind, also provide your name and contact information, please.
Sheila and Johnny Stringfield. You want a phone number? 865-384-1642.
Thank you
And
very
we're at
much.
10925 Kingston Pike.
Thank you very much. I think hopefully you heard everything that was said so far. Do you have anything you would like to add about this sign for the board?
No, I don't.
Wonderful.
Just want to say thank you.
Okay, thank you. Board members, do you have any questions or comments for the Stringfields?
This is Alderman Pinchot, not for them, but I want to just make sure at the next meeting we hear back from Bart as to if there was any issue with the subject to.
Yeah, Ron, I'm not sure how quickly they'll get it built. The one thing that I would advise the applicants, I was going to, follow up with an email to them is make sure they leave all the pink stakes that the surveyor put in, in the ground, and make sure the people building the sign don't knock them over and that sort of thing, because we'll be able to, pull dimensions off of those and make sure it's all set properly.
Okay. So should we expect someone to be out here to look at what's staked before we start?
Well, no, the surveyor staked it, and I know the
Right.
surveyor, and he's the one that legally can establish where the lines are. It's just that when the sign company starts building it, to make sure that it's that it lines up and that it's on the right side of those stake lines is what we're going to be looking at. It's just
Okay,
making
we'll
sure it's-
we'll be present when they put it in, and we've got he marked exactly where the base sits.
Yeah, I
For
saw
the
that
sign,
on the
so-
pictures. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that should help.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good deal.
Okay, wonderful. Do we have any citizen comments we need to read into the record?
No, I don't.
Okay. Any amendments to the motion that's already out there? Okay, well, hearing none, I guess we'll proceed to the roll call vote.
Okay, Mr. Armstrong,
Yes.
Ms. Hollyfield,
Yes.
Chairman Lehman,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Alderman Pinchak,
Yes.
Ms. Stowe,
Yes.
and Mr. Wright.
Yes.
Okay, it passed unanimously.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for being on with us tonight, Ms. Stringfield, and
Thank you.
congratulations on your new sign.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right, thank you. All right, so we're going to move on down to the next item on the agenda, which is Old Stage Farm subdivision entrance sign on Old Stage Road. Looks like we're missing some things that we would need to review on this sign. Has anything changed on that, or what information
No.
needs to be have?
Not of the, not as of this morning. I'm still waiting for things to be resubmitted. The existing plan, which is here, it wouldn't satisfy your requirements for a signage plan. There's no color rendering. All the signage information is just up there in the top right-hand corner. Also, where they were proposing to locate it was actually on the public right-of-way on the drawing here, and it either needs to be on a open space lot, or they need to go back into the subdivision plat and plat a formal sign easement if it's going to be on a private lot. So I did send comments to the applicant, and also in a non-related meeting with the developer, the subdivision, and we discussed this, and he was aware of the problems and realized he needed to have some new plans done. And I don't know what his timeline is, but we haven't gotten anything back in yet. So based on the lacking material on the sign application, plus the fact that the drawing was showing some elements of the sign structure being on the public right of way, we just recommend denial at this point. And once they get their drawings updated, they can just resubmit then.
Okay, appreciate the comments. I think it is very difficult to review a sign when you really can't see what they're planning to do. This makes it very difficult. So we'll ask board members for questions and comments at this point, starting with Ms. Moore. Do you have any questions or comments?
I don't have any additional questions or comments. I agree with what you said. It's kind of hard to really see a plan or really identify what can be done. So nothing additional.
Okay. Alderman Pinchot?
I'll just pass.
All right. Miss Stowe?
I'll just pass too.
All right. Mr. Armstrong?
I'll pass as well.
Mr. Wright? Mr. Wright, do you have any?
Pass.
Okay. Ms. Hollyfield?
Also pass.
Mr. Rogers?
I will pass as well.
I think that's an indicator of where this vote is heading there, Bart.
Okay.
All right. Do we have a motion? Do we have a motion from the board? Okay. So far,
I mean, I guess I'll make a motion to deny until further information is received.
I'll second the
yeah, from
denial.
Ms. Moore, a motion to deny, and from Ms. Holyfield, a second on that. Is the applicant
Actually, by
in this
Robert's
case?
rules, by Robert's rules, if there's no motion, there's no need to go any further. Fails by lack of a motion.
Okay.
I mean, you could do that as well, either way.
Well, we do have a motion now, so
Yeah.
it was, I guess it could be amended, but currently we have one and a second. Is the applicant present? Okay, no applicant. Any citizen comments?
And
So-
the motion was to deny it until revised plans are submitted, Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's correct.
Yeah. That, that'll allow them to just, keep the same application open, and we'll, when they get it revised and load new plans up into the MGO system, we'll be able to start reviewing them then. So we won't make them go back to square one and reapply. They can, we'll just keep this application open.
Okay. So that seems to work then if we have this motion, but I guess we have the opportunity to amend the motion as well. And is there any amendments to the motion? Right, hearing none, I guess we'll proceed to the roll call vote. And the vote, I guess here, the affirmative is to carry the motion, which is for denial. So go ahead.
Okay. Mr. Armstrong,
Yes.
Ms. Holyfield,
Yes.
Chairman Lehman,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Alderman Pinchot,
Yes.
Ms. Stowe,
Yes.
and Mr. Wright.
Yes.
Okay, so that was unanimous. I assume they'll be resubmitting, in the next month or two on this. I mean, obviously the subdivision's under construction, so I'm sure they're going to want a subdivision entrance sign at some point. But I just haven't heard back from them, so I'll try to get in touch with them and get a sense of when they may be resubmitting.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so with that, we're going to move down to the next section, which is the landscape plan application section. We have an item on the agenda for the Villages of Farragut Phase 2 at 230 Village Commons Boulevard. Again, it appears we have some incomplete plans here and some other corrections needed. So with that, I'll turn it over for staff comments.
Yeah, this is a similar situation. It's your landscape plans or plan approvals as opposed to permit applications on the sign, so they're a little different. But there was a bit of a mix-up on this. The landscape architect was provided this sort of site plan coverage that underlays the landscape plan, and it turns out that the engineers and the developers actually had expanded this phase of the development. It includes a detention basin that's over there to the left-hand side of the plan that's nestled up along Smith Road, and so the landscape architect didn't have an opportunity to provide the landscape plan for the detention basin, which is a required element. So I contacted him, and he was going to get with the engineer and try to get an updated coverage, site plan coverage to put the landscaping on. And I just haven't heard back from them yet. So they're aware of the problem, but they didn't get a revised plan in time for the meeting. They also are proposing to decrease the amount of vegetation they're putting in the buffer down there at the bottom bottom of the plan, the south end of the property there, based on the fact that there's apparently a berm in there, but again, the berm was not shown on the site plan coverage, so there was no indication as to exactly where it was or how high the berm was, whether it met, the minimum standards for a berm to be able to reduce the amount of landscaping. So again, that was information that we were waiting on, and it just didn't get turned in time. So, you know, I'd recommend you either defer action on this or just deny it with the understanding that they can resubmit the updated materials when they get them done.
All right, thank you. It really does sound like in this case that deferring it or tabling it, however you want to say it, till the next meeting might be the correct action to take, because they're working on it, they're communicating with you.
Mm-hmm.
They just need to do some updates, the way I understand it, correct?
Yeah, I mean, the plantings were, assuming there's a qualifying berm, the plantings are in pretty good shape. They have some white pines on the plant list that they won't be able to use, and they'll have to substitute something else out for, but and they probably have to rearrange some of the trees to meet the minimum standard in the buffer, but that's sort of predicated on there being a qualifying berm, and they're going to need to show that where it is and how high it is on the plan, or provide some documentation to us on that, and then they will have to expand this plan, laterally to incorporate the detention basin, or add a second page, for the detention basin that's over there on the west side of the property along Smith Road, to, and show the minimum landscaping for a detention basin. So it's probably a pretty simple fix once the landscape architects gets the underlying information from the project engineer, because I think the bulk of his landscaping is there with some minor substitutions, and then just adding the minimum number of trees around the detention basin.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll go through the board and see if you have any other questions or comments for you. So, starting with Mr. Armstrong.
No questions, no comments.
All right, Ms. Moore.
The only question I have is, if they do have an update pretty soon, would we need to wait till the next meeting, or would this be something that, I mean, this is a pretty major approval.
Yeah,
next meeting, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I was hoping they would get something in, the end of last week, so I could have had an opportunity to look at it. And if there were just a few minor changes, it could have been done as a subject too. But, like you say, if they got to get the detention basin on this and put the landscaping in, but they also have to go out and not only document where the berm is, but that the berm is going to meet the minimum height requirement to qualify for the planting reduction. So, that could, if it didn't, that could significantly change the plan. So,
okay, that's all I had.
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay. Alderman Pinchot.
I pass.
All right, Ms. Stowe.
I have no questions.
Ms. Hollyfield.
I do. One, I know they did not on phase one have white pines. Why would they not want to be consistent on what they had in phase one to do the same planting with the phase two to kind of put it all together?
Yeah, I think they were looking for to put some evergreens in the buffer, and also, let me see if I can get this. Can't get this little thing up and running. Whoa. Well, that's not good. Hang on a minute. Let me.
Yeah. Hello, everybody.
I don't know what I did there.
We're all here together now. It's like the Brady Bunch.
It's like, well, okay. Not quite sure what I did there, but
Let's not start over.
no kidding. I was
I'll
trying.
retract my question.
Now that's I think they were putting some of the white pines up in here, I think, just to be a mass and do a little screening, and then a couple down in this buffer area down through here, you know.
Oh, geez. Okay.
But
Ooh.
you know, I mean, not all of those trees, but you know, they were scattered in there, and I just think they were probably trying to do a little buffering and screening, but you know,
Okay.
what they were using them for, they just, you know, they're not on our approved list, and
Right.
I don't think the town has had a lot of luck with white pines, so
I just thought that they would use the same trees that they had in the first phase, you know, but that's all the questions I have. Sorry, guys. Never mind.
Okay, let's see, who was that? Oh, Mr. Wright.
No comments.
All right, Mr. Rogers.
okay. Well, I lost this again, so there's something's not working well right now with my
Well, at least we're
PowerPoint.
almost at the end of your PowerPoint. So
Yeah.
all right, Jake, did you have anything to add?
No, sir, I did not.
Okay. Okay. All right. Sounds like there's no other comments or questions. So at this point on this item, do we have a motion?
So Marty, and this one, we would just say that we make a motion to table, correct? Is that the actual motion?
We certainly could do that, which would defer action to next month. And
yeah. And we,
now,
if that's okay.
I think we can add to that motion if we have any recommendations on, for instance, white pines or whatever, we can add to that.
Yeah.
Or give a comment back to Bart that he can share with them.
I think you already have, haven't you, Bart?
Yeah, on the white pines, I asked them to substitute something else in their place. But if y'all have any other comments on the plan in general that you want passed on, I could do that to the landscape architect when I speak to him next.
So basically, we can just say, I make a motion to table this till the next meeting, and also make sure that the white pine is addressed, right?
Yeah.
With the correct trees.
And basically, you're tabling it because it's incomplete.
Right. Well, thank you. So you did say make a motion, didn't you?
Yeah, I was calling for a motion if you wanted to make it. So we do have a motion from Ms. Hollyfield to defer action on this item till the next meeting, and because it's incomplete, and to support what staff has already told the applicant, and that is the board also request white pines in particular to be removed and replaced with something on the approved list. So that's the way I would sort of understand that. So with that, do we have a second to this motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a second by Ms. Stowe. Is the applicant present tonight? Okay. Do we have any citizen comments?
No, I don't.
All right, is there an amendment to the motion? Okay, looks like we're ready to vote. So if you'll proceed, please.
Okay, Mr. Armstrong?
Yes.
Ms. Hollyfield?
Yes.
Chairman Lane?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. I was stuttering a bit there. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Alderman Pinchak?
Yes.
Ms. Stowe?
Yes.
And Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
So we'll probably have a couple things on the agenda for next month at least.
At least.
Yeah.
Well, as far as this month's agenda, that's everything on the printed agenda, but I guess we do need to cover very quickly meeting next month. From what we discussed before this meeting started, it sounds like everything has changed with as far as the requirements on the state and local level. So we will be meeting in person next month, as I understand it. So the question now is where? Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, and if you've got some feelings on spacing, I can bring those to the town's attention, and we can see if there are other venues. You're a fairly large board. If you're I don't know how comfortable you're going to be sitting up at the main board table that close together in the boardroom. I mean, our 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 audience attendance at the BRB meetings, tends to be fairly small. There's the agendas aren't that large, and there aren't that many people involved in the projects that, there's a lot of audience in the room, but you all do tend to sit fairly close together. So if you feel more comfortable further spread out, I can see whether or not there's a alternate meeting space available.
Okay, and I think that's really where we are, is to find out. I guess the real question here, to make it simple, is should we stay where we've been, in the boardroom, or should we go to an alternate site? And I think the best thing to do there, Bart, would just be to go through like a roll call vote, just ask everyone, boardroom or not.
Yeah, the alternate sites would be either in the community room, I guess, here in the town hall, which would provide you an opportunity to spread out a bit in terms of sitting as a board, and then we could have the applicants come in, if there were people there for the meeting, they could come in on a item by item basis. And then I think some boards may look at meeting over in the community center in their large room they have there, but that's on a space available basis, because they have that, they take reservations for that room, so that may not always be available. I don't know. But but that's really what the options would be. So if you want, I can just go down and ask each member. Is that what you're proposing, Chairman?
Yeah, I think so. That way everybody can give, sort of more or less vote on either stay in the boardroom or alternate location.
Okay. Mr. Armstrong, do you have any preferences on that?
I'm fine with the boardroom. I mean, personally, I'm fully vaccinated. So, but I will tell you, the other board that I'm on has been meeting at the community center over in the large community center room, and it's been fine.
Okay.
So either way for me.
Okay. Ms. Hollyfield, you got any?
I have no preference. I had it already. I had it before in the last February. So I actually just got my smell back. 13 months it took me to get my smell back, but I have no preference. It doesn't matter to me, whatever you want to do.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, do you have any preference on it?
Not really. I'm vaccinated. I think we can be safe in any location. The only comment I will add to that is that I'm sure there will be other boards and committees meeting between now and when we meet next. If there is a consensus among all of those boards and the town staff that the meeting should be held at an alternate site, I'm comfortable following their lead. And if not, we can stay in the boardroom.
Okay. Ms. Moore, you got any feelings on the matter one way or the other?
I'm open to whatever is the best place. I'm fine with the boardroom or an alternate location. So I'm flexible and open to whatever's needed.
Okay. Alderman Pinchot?
I think for this first meeting, I'm voting for the alternate site if possible.
Okay. Ms. Stowe?
My preference is the boardroom.
Okay.
But I could go anywhere. It's just logistically, it's a little easier to get to.
Okay.
And I think that the public, people who are representing these businesses and things, know where that is and are used to going there. So I just think it makes it easier for them when they have projects that they need to come and talk about. So that's my preference, but I mean, I'm open to wherever.
Okay. And then Mr. Wright?
Yes, I'm open to wherever. Just no preference, and tell me where to go.
Okay. And how about you, Jake?
I have no opinion. I'm just excited to get to meet all of y'all for the first time.
That's right.
Yes, yes, you've had a very odd experience as a student representative to a board.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Great point.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
You know, and I will just add this, that wherever we meet, and regardless of what mask mandates are or are not in the area, I think if you're comfortable wearing a mask, wear a mask. If not, not. You know, I think we can be safe that way. If you're following CDC guidance, you know, they're changing that as the day goes by, it seems like. So
yeah,
I feel like we can do it, and everybody do what they feel comfortable with.
Okay.
Well, I'm just curious, how many people are vaccinated on our group? Is there anybody not vaccinated in our group?
I am not. I cannot take the vaccine. I've had allergic reactions to where I've almost died. So there's no way, but I've had COVID. So, yeah.
And I'm not either.
You're just not old enough, buddy.
What?
You're just young. You're too young.
So am I the only one that hasn't been vaccinated?
You and Jake.
I don't mind. I've not either. I'm not either.
Oh, okay.
This is Derek.
Okay. Well.
And again, I think that may be some things that town staff will be talking about, and we'll see what other boards are doing. And we have almost a month here, so we get the benefit of seeing how it works with everyone else. So
yes,
that's true.
Just
That's true.
again, I think to echo what everyone else has said, Bart, as we get close to our next meeting, just let us know what the recommendation is.
Okay, yeah, and I'll pass all that information on to the powers to be to see, you know, how they want to move forward with meetings as well. Also, Mark wanted me to let you know for the next meeting we might be giving a staff report and talking to you all about the town moving forward on becoming a tree city under the Tree City USA program. I think Farragut's looked at that in the past, and there was always some question as to whether or not we could meet the monetary requirements for tree maintenance that's done around town. But I think we've gotten with Public Works and Parks and Rec, and you know, the amount of staff time and things to get into just, you know, general tree maintenance on public property. So we may look to become a certified tree city. So that's something that, you know, we'll probably be bringing you up to speed on, if not next meeting, the meeting after.
Okay. Sounds good. And we have looked at that before. So
yeah.
Sounds good. Okay. Are there any additional topics we need to know about before we adjourn?
That's all I have.
All right. Well, with that, we'll adjourn this month's meeting. Thank you, everyone, again, and I am looking forward to seeing you guys next time as well. It's been over a year now, so it'll be nice to see everyone.
Yep.
All right. We'll see you later.
I did have a quick question.
Wait.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Jake.
So my my audio wasn't working for like the first 2 minutes I was on here, but I think I caught the end of Alderman Pinchuk saying something about a graduation.
Right. I think the question was, are you still going to be with us in May and June? Okay.
Well, I can be, yeah, and I'm up for that. So this is a 2-year commitment is what I thought, but I'm going off to UT Chattanooga next fall. So. Oh, it is just a one?
Yeah.
I think it's just a 1-year commitment.
Yeah,
so
just
your term
one.
would end after
I
the
think
June
it's a
meeting.
year. you know, sometimes people get reappointed, but
Okay.
yeah.
I talked to Allison Myers, and she had told me it was a 2-year, but I didn't really know exactly.
But regardless, you're going to UT Chattanooga.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, and absolutely, if you can still be with us for May and June meetings, please do so. And then I'm sure between then and now, we'll work out the term and you can get your answers on all that stuff. So,
All right.
okay,
All right. Sounds good.
sounds good.
okay.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
See you guys later. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Take
Thanks.
care.